I am so honored and thrilled to introduce to you our featured speakers for this session. Anita Diamant is the founding president of Mayyim Hayyim, and Carrie Bornstein first got involved with Mayyim Hayyim as a volunteer mikveh guide in 2006 and is now its chief executive officer, having served in this capacity since 2012.
When I was working on the Red Tent, when I was writing the Red Tent, I was also writing a book called Choosing a Jewish Life. And in the process of doing the research for Choosing a Jewish Life, I went to the mikveh in Boston several times with different clergy to see how they proceeded with the conversion. There was very limited access to mikveh for any of the liberal rabbis here in the Boston area. They could only use the mikveh for conversion one afternoon a week, and if it was a chag, that week was out. I was there when a new convert to Judaism had to dry her hair in front of the Beit Din that had just been there for her conversion, and she was very embarrassed. I was there when a group of, I think there were 3 people converting to Judaism, standing in the cold outside, waiting for someone to come and unlock the doors. And I got very upset about the way we were treating people who were making the remarkable choice to become Jewish. And so I started fetching about it, because by then I knew a lot of people in the Boston community. I'd been here a while, and the Red Tent was hot. So anybody would talk to me, and I said, we need a mikveh. We need something that's respectful and beautiful, where everybody can come, where we have access, where there's access for people with physical problems, with who don't identify one way or another in terms of gender, for everybody, and it should be welcoming and beautiful. And I kept looking for somebody to do it and to be the push behind it. And I was told, no, it's got to be you, because it's got to be you. So I became the chair of a non-existent organization, which we named Mayyim Hayyim, but with great luck and great, maybe it was Bashert. Aliza Klein moved to Boston, and we hired her as our first executive director. And she's the person who hired the wonderful Carrie Bornstein, who you will hear from soon. And we went around Boston, the Boston Jewish community, explaining to people why they needed a mikveh. Most people that we were talking to in the liberal community really didn't understand what we were talking about, but they were willing to talk to us and willing to listen to us. But slowly people started sharing stories about conversion, about being treated for breast cancer and going to the rabbi and saying, I need something from my tradition, and having a rabbi say, I think it would be great if I could send you to a mikveh when you finish your treatment, but there's really nowhere I'm comfortable sending you. And when this woman shared her story in her living room with a bunch of her friends, people started to understand what the need was. When a local rabbi spoke to a group of women and explained that she had been widowed several months earlier, this was her first time in public, she looked at her hand and said, when I take off my wedding ring, I would like to go to a mikveh to mark that transition in my life. There is no place like that to go. We need to build such a thing. People fell in love with the idea of creating something beautiful, meaningful, and what was new for them, for us, as a liberal Jewish community in particular. Slowly but surely, we raised money. We found a location. We renovated an old building. We opened, and 18 years ago, we opened. And here we are, and under the leadership, particularly of Carrie Bornstein, I have to say, we are actually fulfilling that fantasy of mine, that we could in fact be a flagship, that we could in fact be a model for other people in other places to create mikvaot that spoke to their needs, that spoke to their communities, that looked appropriate for their community in terms of architecture and design. And here we are with all of you wonderful people here and your communities around the world. And I'm still in awe of the power of community to create.
It's wonderful to be here, and really, I want to pick it up from where Anita left off and talk through where we're going. This is a community mikveh effort that we're talking about here, and this is the reason why we're able to accomplish anything. And so, I think that the work that we're doing is so powerful. It's going to enable any Jew at any moment of life transition to find a space for themselves that is meaningful and resonant and nourishes their Jewish soul and their identity. That's the work that we're doing together. Shared just kind of some experiences that people have had with coming to the mikveh. And like you might imagine, everything that people shared, before my wedding, before a miscarriage, after an abortion, starting cancer treatment, like any of the things, these are real life things. Like, it does not get more real than what we're talking about here. And what we're doing together is finding a way to bridge our real lives with some deep meaning and spiritual connection. We're finding a way to enhance people's lives. We are opening the door to a wide array of communities and setting out a welcome mat, not just to the ritual of immersion, but to Jewish life itself. That's what we're doing here. We are, an open mikveh is a place where each person, each visitor is valued on their own terms, no matter who they are, providing time for people who are searching for meaning in their lives to renew their souls. And what we can offer them is something that's different, that can be surprising, to say, whoa, wow. I mean, this was part of my story coming to the mikveh. Like, I didn't realize that Jewish life could be so extraordinary in that way for me. And I think that's the work that we're doing. It's the mikveh can be one of the very few places in Jewish life that is truly pluralistic. It's truly inclusive. This is something that we can each do on our own terms. And it can allow the wider Jewish community to see what we're doing here and to raise the bar for this kind of engagement and innovation beyond that. Ultimately, we're building equity in Jewish identity and connectivity, where we're allowing each person, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, equal kind of access to inspire other spheres of the Jewish community to draw inspiration from our work. We're creating a more vibrant and welcoming and inclusive community for everyone. And I'm just so proud to be doing this work. That's where I see us going in the future. Is we are continuing this work. We're making it possible for people to have this kind of experience no matter where they are, and really creating the Jewish community that I want to be a part of. It's inspiring.